Forbidden Knowledge Television.
This is logged in on November 25th, 2023, Eastern Standard Time. Sensitive material has been breached and it is now in front of the public. This is very sensitive documentation and the world will be in total chaos if leaked, and it is now leaked. All of it. Not one document, all of it. Place of exploitation, Forbidden Knowledge Television. This must be stopped.
What's up? What's up? Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. I see people are already hopping in the live chat. A lot of people in here already. We got about 500 people and counting, so let it grow a little bit more. Make sure you guys please click that like button, all right? And make sure you please share this video. We need to get as many people on this video as possible. We got to educate some people. We're going to free some slaves tonight. All right, we're going to free some mental slaves tonight because I'm going to bring you the knowledge and I'm going to bring the receipts because you know I always bring the receipts. And so we're talking about, could Easter be the celebration of the fertility god known as Ishtar? Ishtar, Easter, kind of sound familiar? We're going to dig deep into that. We're going to dig deep into this topic and all the names of Ishtar known throughout the region over time. We're going to talk about Easter. We're going to talk about the true meaning behind Easter, what it's really all about. And we're going to dig into some other things that go along with this particular weekend, like the crucifixion, Passover, all those rituals that go along with this entire weekend and what is it really all about. And so we're going to educate some people tonight. It's going to be an amazing talk. All right. Looking forward to it. And make sure you guys share this video. Make sure you please click the like button. It's very important to get the algorithm going in the right direction. All right. And so let me know in the live chat if my voice is clear. Let me know in the live chat if my voice is clear, if my mic is good. As you can see, I'm traveling. I'm not at home in my normal studio or office. I'm actually traveling right now. And so I'm actually going to be in a documentary tomorrow that's being filmed, and it's about levitation and anti-gravity. So I'm out of town right now. All right, all clear, all clear. Appreciate you. Thank y'all in the live chat. All right, cool. And while we have this going, I want you guys to take 1 minute while people are loading in here, 1 minute and watch this trailer for my new series that's airing in Regal IMAX Theater.
In an era shrouded in the midst of time, within the vast expanse of an uncharted cosmos, emerged the genesis of humankind. How did the odyssey of humanity begin? What secrets lie within our primordial roots? As I began to research ancient cultures, I discovered something quite interesting. Most of these ancient cultures all believe that life originated in the Pleiades. When you look at the indigenous North Americans, the Mayans, the Aboriginal tribes of Australia, the Egyptians, and even the Japanese, they all claim that they were seeded on this planet by people from the Pleiades. How can people separated by so many thousands of miles in different continents have the same exact story? There must be some fact rooted in the myth. This is the saga of the Anunnaki and their ancient secrets revealed.
All right, so that is going to be my new TV series. It'll be airing in Regal IMAX cinemas all around the United States. I just dropped a link to the one that's going to be airing in LA at the Regal Live. It's a huge stadium seating IMAX theater that holds 700 people. And I'd love to see you guys there. And I'll drop the link again in this chat. And I know when you see a trailer like that and you see there's UFOs in there by the pyramids, and does it mean he's trying to say that the pyramids were built by aliens? What I'm trying to tell people, and you'll get that if you watch my TV series, is that the aliens are not what you think they are. They're people. They are people just like you and I. And I don't think that the aliens specifically use their own hands and labor to build pyramids. But I do believe that they actually laid down the blueprint and taught a specific group of people to build. In any civilization, you have specialists, right? So if I want to, have a house built, I am not going to go and sit down and draw out a master blueprint and then go buy all the supplies and have them dropped off and then go out there and build my own house, because that's not my passion. You see? So just because somebody says, um, you know, slaves built the pyramids, well, I have a hard time with that. I have a real hard time with slaves building pyramids. There's a certain level of precision. There's a certain level of high science, high education, calculus and geometry and everything else, and also the use of specific types of high-end tools that need to be mastered before they're used. You can't just grab somebody out of a cave or out of some type of a hut and say, pick up this tool and slice this rock in half, and it just doesn't work. And we're going to talk about that today because it has a little bit to do with the myth of why we have Passover and the fact that people were slaughtered and killed on Good Friday. Okay, it's going to be interesting talk tonight. Interesting talk. Now, before I proceed talking about this topic, there's a couple of things I want to preface. All right, I want to preface number one: holidays. The holidays we have right now are important. They're important because they're recognized mostly almost globally. If you're in America, they're, of course, they're recognized nationally. And they give families an opportunity to spend some time with one another. Okay. They give families an opportunity because people are usually off. It gives a time for kids who might be away in college to travel to come see their parents or their grandparents. It's a time for people to go out and spend some quality time with one another, to cook some good food, have a great barbecue or whatever it is, have a great meal, right? A feast, and just celebrate the love of one another. Okay. And so I don't want to take anything away from that. I make it clear, like I talked about the last time I talked about a holiday. I don't want to take anything away from that. I talked about St. Patrick's Day. If you want to go out and have a good time on St. Patrick's Day, go do it. I was just giving you the knowledge as to the underlying theme and meaning of what it really is all about and how it became a popularized, canonized day. And so in this particular situation, I'm doing the same exact thing. Okay. If I wasn't traveling right now, I would definitely be with my family. I would definitely have a great dinner and have a relaxing day and spend some super quality time. I probably wouldn't do any work whatsoever. Okay. And so what I'm telling you is understanding the fundamentals and the root of a holiday doesn't mean you have to stop yourself from having any enjoyment, any fun with any family members, because I see this happening a lot. People tend to get so fanatical about what they learned in a particular topic or a ritual or a holiday, and then they become aggressive. I don't want you to become aggressive. I don't want you to be like, don't be telling me about no damn Easter. I don't want you guys to do that. Okay. I don't want you guys to do that. I want you guys to be able to say, let me take in this knowledge and understand. Also, let me have an opportunity to teach in a very nice way. I can come now with knowledge and facts and receipts. But I also, at the end of the day, some of you guys, hey, go get that food. Go love on your people. Okay. Go love on your people. Go spend time with your family. Because a lot of the times, these are the only days we get, the days that have made national holidays where a lot of places are closed and families have a chance to spend time with each other. That's important. Okay. So now, with that being said, let's dig into this topic. And I'm going to be very studious on this topic at the same time. I might snap a little bit here and there because you know me, but at the same time, because I want to bring the receipts and I want to bring you the sources so that when you walk away from this, you don't feel like I just came off the dome with a whole bunch of my opinions. No, throughout this entire talk today, I will be giving you my receipts. I will be giving you source material that you yourself can go back and look up. All right. So when we're talking about Easter, we're trying to figure out what exactly is it. From the Christian perspective and the ideology and the dogma, it's about the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It starts off with a Good Friday, but I don't know why they call it Good Friday, because it was a bad day. It was a bad Friday, according to the text, because what it's saying, according to the biblical text and the canonized text, is saying that the firstborn of every Egyptian family was slain and killed and murdered. Now, I have a problem calling that a good day. I really do. If you are a human being and you are about humanity, then that would be a bad day. If you really truly are about humanity and about love, unconditional love, it would be a bad, bad, bad day when you kill the firstborn of every single family that exists within an entire town. So that starts off the weekend. The first day is the Friday night, it's slaughter night. We're going to go out here and slay some babies. Just slay some babies, no big deal. Just kill the babies. And then you call it a good day. See how they use the word? See how they flip the words on you? They take something dark and evil and sadistic and murderous, and they turn it into, oh, it's a good day. It's Good Friday. Think about that for a minute. For the people who had unfortunate situation where their kids were shot down in the schools when these school shooters showed up, did they rename that day Good Day, Good Tuesday, or Good Wednesday? Did they do that? The shooters claimed they had a reason, just like the Pharaoh claimed he had a reason. So why didn't they name that a good day? I'm just asking for a friend. They didn't do it because they know it's dark and it's evil and it's not good. That's why they didn't do it. So why in the world are you naming it Good Friday when it's really a bad Friday? And it's a celebration. No, it's not a celebration. Kids were killed. Innocent kids were slaughtered, according to that text. Just something to think about, something to ponder. Ain't he good all the time? Okay. All right, so Easter connection. Okay. First of all, Easter is a connection to the spring equinox. It originated as a pagan celebration of the equinox. In pre-Christian times, let me say that again. In pre-Christian, in other words, before Christianity, the equinox was celebrated as one of the solstices that honored the goddess Easter or Esther, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And there's many names, variations, depending on the tongue and the region of the world that you're in. She was known as the goddess of the dawn and of the vernal equinox. In German, she was known as Astara. So instead of Easter, it was Astara with the German tongue. We were talking about the same person, okay? In Mesopotamia, known as Ishtar. In the Akkadian version, known as Inanna, same person. Same person, different tongues, but the same exact person. So it's pretty interesting. So you have this celebration of the vernal equinox. Now, what is the vernal equinox? So the vernal equinox is, so the earth is tilted on its axis, okay? And the earth has a wobble. And as it wobbles, we get different seasons as it spins on its axis. There is a point where you get to where the earth's wobble almost perfectly is even on the left and the right. And as the sun shines on the earth, you get two equal days. You get an equal day and an equal night. Okay, that's what it is. You get an equal day and an equal night. So the vernal equinox is depending on the Earth's tilt. As the Earth is spinning and it has its tilt, when it gets to a certain point, boom, which is when Easter is. This is long before Christianity, by the way. This has been celebrated for a very, very long, eons before Christianity. So they're celebrating the actual vernal equinox, and they're celebrating new birth and regeneration, okay, which is where Ishtar comes in. So you can see now already the ground is being laid. And for sources like that, you need to look no other place other than, and I'll give you some sources right quick. Let me take a pause and just give you a couple of sources real quick. So you can go just and find out exactly what I'm talking about if you don't believe what I just said. Okay. You can go to the Encyclopedia Britannica and the Encyclopedia of Religion. You can go to the Theoi Greek mythology book, and you can also go into most religious texts, especially starting with the Sumerian texts. You can read information about this in several Sumerian tablets and texts as well. Okay, so, and those texts are available at the British Museum. You can actually go look at them. They're actual things that are physical that you can see with your own eyes. But, you can just start off with, of course, you can also go to the Journal of Religious History, the History of Religions, and Journal of Royal Anthropological Institute, which often publishes research on the origins of evolution of religious and cultural practices. So that's another source that I use. All right. So if and I'll list these in the caption of this video when I end this live. That way you can always go back and you can copy and paste the receipts. Oh man, Billy be making stuff up. Oh no, Billy don't be making stuff up. Everything I tell you, I want you to become a researcher. I don't want you to believe what I say. I want you to research what I say. I want you to research what I say, period. Okay. And so the vernal equinox. Now, that's where the beginning of this whole ritual, and I do mean ritual, begins. And so there's a ritual that's going on with this renewal of life, and also with what they really want. The main goal behind all of this is having the ability to reproduce. They want to reproduce. They want to bring a lot of people onto this planet in a very short period of time. That was the original origins of this. If you go into the Sumerian tablets, you begin to find out that there was a situation where they wanted more people, more of us on this planet. Why? Because they wanted us to do more work. There wasn't enough of us. They wanted to expand around the entire planet. They wanted to build civilizations all throughout, and they wanted us to be able to do the work. They wanted to be able to cultivate specific people that can learn trades within, whether it's the waterways, the water systems, whether it's learning how to, dig out moats or construct temples and buildings, make bridges, dig out canals. There was various labor jobs that they had for everything you would need to build an entire civilization, right? Irrigation fields, farming, all of that was a lot of work. And they wanted more people to help do it. We're talking about a time period from very, very far back, extremely far back time period, because we're talking about an era of time when Ishtar, aka Inanna, aka Easter, was actually in a relationship with a guy named Dumuzi, the shepherd Dumuzi. Now, the shepherd Dumuzi, you can find him in the Sumerian kings list. So we're talking about pre-flood. And more evidence that this is pre-flood is because she's also in the Epic of Gilgamesh before Noah builds the ark. And Noah in there is known as Ziusudra or Unapishtim. So depending on Akkadian or Babylonian, whichever one you're reading, right? So this is before the ark was built. So we're talking pre-flood, okay? We're talking antediluvial, not post-diluvial, giving more evidence to how old this ritual is and how far back it goes. And it's been associated with a lot of fertility symbols, okay? A lot of fertility symbols. And I'm going to read some of these to you. And a lot of this fertility information comes directly from the tablets. So let's see if we can get into some of these fertility symbols. The fertility symbols and spring celebrations have deep roots in ancient traditions, including those from Babylon, and have evolved or been assimilated into various cultural religions and celebrations, including Easter. Here's a look at some of these symbols and practices, drawing connections that definitely exist. Fertility symbols and practices. Often see the lion associated. The lion is associated and symbolizes strength, power, and fertility. And then, of course, you see sometimes the 8-pointed star. This symbol represents Ishtar and the Venus star. So the 8-pointed star is a representation of Venus. And why Venus? Because if you Google this too, you'll find out that Venus was actually owned, and I do mean owned, by Ishtar, aka Inanna. Yes, these people, they owned planets, they owned moons, they even owned entire constellations, depending on how powerful they were within their number. They had a numerical ranking system. And Ishtar owned Venus, according to the Sumerian tablets, not according to Billy Carson. Okay. And so that's the 8-pointed star. Of course, then you have the fact that the symbol represents Ishtar and Venus star, reflecting her aspects as a goddess of fertility, love, sex, and war. Love, sex, and war. So we're talking about revering someone that was about fertility, love, sex, and also war, which means that includes killing people. It means killing people. Now, the eggs and the rabbits, where'd that come from? So they were more commonly associated with Easter eggs and rabbits as a symbol of fertility. As you know, rabbits reproduce extremely fast, and eggs represent, for example, this now right here is time for birds to mate and lay their eggs. So it's just representing fertility and representing new life is on the way. And it represents that life is coming in a very short period of time, because a lot of these eggs from birds in the spring, they hatch extremely quick because they have to hatch before the winter. You can't hatch eggs in the winter. You shouldn't have, some probably get left behind or maybe eaten, but they try to get these eggs to hatch prior to winter. And so, and the reason why is these birds they gotta develop, they gotta fly and everything before that winter, before that hawk gets here in most cases. Now, if you look at this, the direct association with Ishtar has been seen with the fertility, with the eggs, and with populating people on the planet across many different cultures. So that means this goddess, this woman, had an impact not just in one small section of the earth, but potentially globally. Okay, potentially she had global impact. And this time was a time for celebration and mating and having babies. And that's really what it's all about, and celebrating the fact that we have the vernal equinox, okay, an equal day and an equal night. The earth is about to tilt the opposite way on its wobble, which adds another piece of knowledge. If you're paying attention, these people knew that the earth had a tilt, and they knew that the earth had a wobble, and they knew that the earth spun on its own axis, and they knew about star alignments, because this is also about specific star alignments that occur as well. Okay. And then you have the green branches, Tammuz, a god associated with vegetation and fertility, and is the consort, or was one of the consorts of Ishtar, but she had many, and was celebrated with rituals involving greenery to symbolize the revival of the earth. And then you have the spring celebrations and Easter symbols. Eggs symbolizing new life and rebirth. Eggs have been a part of the spring festivals long before their incorporation into Easter traditions. So long before Christians came along with this concept of Easter, which I'm going to tell you how that happened in a minute, they were already digging deep into the past to get this information and bring it into their current idiom, because that was happening for eons. Literally, the eggs were already a big part of this particular ritual and festival every spring. Of course, you have the Easter lilies, the flowers which bloom in the spring, have come to symbolize purity and renewal in the context of Easter. While lilies are not directly linked to the Babylonian fertility symbols, They embody the theme of rebirth and is prevalent in many spring celebrations. So you can see the same theme over and over and over again. It's about fertility. It's not about somebody being resurrected. It's not about eating the flesh and drinking the blood, which we're going to talk about soon. It's not about killing a whole bunch of innocent babies either. It's not about any of that. It's about fertility and mass production of people. And also the Haft scene, H-A-F-T, the Haft scene. Celebrated at the vernal equinox, Nowruz is the Persian New Year and features the Haft scene table, which includes 7 items starting with the letter S in Persian. And these items symbolize rebirth, renewal, and fertility, among other things. Like I said, you see the connection here across many different cultures, all meaning the same exact thing. All of them meaning the same exact thing. So what's going on here? We are looking at a situation, or we have a situation where people are getting caught up thinking it's about one thing, and it actually is about something totally different. And we're going to get into the death of Christ and when they think it was and all of that stuff here tonight, okay? So make sure you guys are sharing this video. I'm just getting warmed up. Make sure you guys are sharing this video. Make sure you click the like button. Click the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And if you want to be notified when I go live, because sometimes these notifications don't go out until the live ends, which is weird, I'm going to drop my cell phone number, my text number in here, 954-245-0086. Okay, text me. 954-245-0086. I just dropped that in the chat as well, the live chat, 954-245-0086, and you'll get notified when I go live, okay? So let's dig a little deeper. Let's just brushing the surface of this whole thing. Let's dig a little bit deeper into this thing and see where it's going, okay? First of all, let's start off with why. Why in the world would Christians end up celebrating a holiday that's about fertility, sex, mating, war, and the vernal equinox? How in the world does this happen? Like, how? I'm going to tell you why. First, you have to understand that we're talking about the time of the Romans, who began to figure out it was a lot easier to convert people to Christianity because it would make a lot more money and it would provide them with a lot more food and gifts. You say, how can that be? Well, if you are running the country, or in their mind, they ran the world, and you're only collecting taxes, well, you're only going to see everybody once every whatever months or once a year, or whatever their cycle for collecting taxes was. But if you add Christianity and add a mandatory tithe in there and offerings in there, all of a sudden you gain superior wealth, because now you've got the taxes, which are not going away. Matter of fact, they're going to go up. And then you have the Christianity, which is going to bring money and donations. Okay. And then you have the offering days where people are going to come and they're going to bring their sacrifices. So they're going to bring their first crops, their freshest and best crop, right? They're going to bring their deer, or not deer, they're going to bring their calves and their lambs, and they're going to have those already prepared. They're going to cut the throat, drain the blood, blah, blah, blah. What do you think was going to happen with all those crops and all that meat? Did you think they were just going to throw it in the garbage can? No. Anyone who travels to Egypt with me already knows this. They'll tell you when you get there that the lines were down the street and around the corner to bring these offerings, to get these blessings. You were bringing food to these people because they weren't going to go hunting and they weren't going to go farming. So they have storehouses built into some of these ancient temples that I take people to. Storehouses to store what? Store all the offerings so they can eat it. It was a shopping list. It was a shopping list. That's what they're doing. They're shopping. So when you incorporate, when you say, you know what? Man, let's convert this Christianity. Let's get these people on Christianity, because now we can make 4 times the amount of money when you add up the cost of the food and the crops and the tithes and the donations and the gifts plus the taxes, it's a win-win for us. Institute this immediately. So now you have the process where they start blending the pagan rituals with Christianity. This is done by the Romans. And I'm going to read it directly from the source for you, from the encyclopedia. The blending of pagan rituals with Christianity by the Romans was a process known as syncretism. Okay, syncretism, syncretism. It was a pragmatic and strategic approach that facilitated the transition from paganism into Christianity across the entire Roman Empire. This synthesis was not just haphazard. It wasn't just a rare occurrence. It was a deliberate strategy influenced by several key factors. First, cultural continuity. Integrating their familiar pagan rituals and festivals into Christian practices helped ease the conversion process for pagans. I don't think these Christians know that they're celebrating pagan holidays. I think if you told them, they'd curse you and tell you you're going to burn in hell or something anyway. By allowing new converts to retain certain aspects of their traditional religious practices, the Christian faith became more accessible and more acceptable. So they eased them in. They massaged them right on in. They just massaged them right on in. Come over here. Let me give you this massage. Let me give you a nice massage, the sweetest massage. Let me loosen your shoulders up, loosen your neck up, get you right on in here. Next thing you know, you think you're worshiping the Lord and God and everything else. You just fell right back into the same old stuff that you were supposed to get away from. You're right back in it again. No change. No evolution. Same old thing. You've been deceived again. You've allowed yourself to become deceived and got right back into the same old system. And now the religious beast is collecting even more wealth off the sweat of your brow. It was funny. I was in Egypt one day, and I think this was in 2020 or 2014, one of those times. And there's this altar inside of one of these temples. And the guy was telling me, Muhammad was telling me about the fact that the people would line up and they would be bringing anything they could bring of any value, food, money, gold, whatever they could bring, and just hope that the temple priest would give them a blessing because their son was sick. And they'd be like, oh yeah, your son will be blessed. He'll be okay. He'll be fine. And then they come with these offerings. I mean, it's just, it's a scam. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It got pimped, mind pimped. And then, of course, let's look at more of the strategy why they would do this. Political strategy. Unification of the empire. The Roman Empire was a vast and culturally diverse empire. The adoption of Christianity as a state religion under the Emperor Constantine in the 4th century was partly a political move to unify the empire under a single religion. Instead of having two religions, instead of having paganism and Christianity and people battling and fighting each other, and we only collecting the taxes, hey guys, let's unify this. There's way more money in the paganism, in the Christianity than the paganism, so let's unify. Let's get the Christians in here. We can make a lot of holidays. We can add holidays to our own existing holidays. We can collect more money. We can collect more wealth, and the people will be working together more, be more calm. Okay, so we'll just weave this whole thing together. So political situation, they got politics, politricks is what I call it. Synchronization of pagan practices within Christianity helps smooth the transition by creating a sense of continuity and inclusivity. People want to feel like they're a part of something. So instead of ostracizing them and keeping them on the outside, let's bring them in and make them feel like they're part of something big and take their money. Of course. Let's look at practical considerations. Seasonal and agricultural celebrations. Many pagan festivals were closely tied to the agricultural calendar and the changing of the seasons. Christianity's adoption of these times for its own celebrations is well known. And it made the new religion more relatable to the common people for whom these cycles were crucial. These people didn't want to let go of their old traditions, and so they're thinking like, why would I want to go into Christianity when I can just keep my old traditions? So Constantine said, you know what? Keep your traditions. It's all good. We're going to make it part of the religion. Matter of fact, we'll write it in. It'll be a part of the scripture now. How do you think this stuff happens? You think it originally was like that? No, it's been added. It's remixed. You're talking about remixed text to get the people comfortable, to get them to go along with the whole shebang. And they did. And then, of course, theological flexibility. Okay? This practice involved the reinterpretation of pagan gods. Let me say that again. The reinterpretation. What does that mean? It means remix. Remix. The reinterpretation of pagan gods, heroes, and rituals within Christian framework. So what they're saying is, we're going to take all of our multiple gods and collapse them into only one God to make them feel so comfortable. And we'll add our text to their text. We'll work it in. We'll take the S off. So it won't be gods. It'll be God, singular. No gods, plural. God, singular. But we'll still work and weave our own traditions into this text so that the people we're converting can feel more comfortable joining it. No, I don't believe in the 144,000 chosen. Somebody asked me that in the live chat. I don't believe in 144,000 people are chosen to do anything. The 144,000 were the 144,000 casing stones on the Great Pyramid that have been removed. But the 144,000, somebody, and I'm going to pause for a second and talk about that because that's interesting. That just sparked something in my brain. I remember I was at the beach and this lady was trying to tell me about the 144,000 that are going to make it to paradise. She was a Jehovah's Witness. And she's talking to me and she's trying to convert me. From time to time, when you walk up or down Fort Lauderdale Beach, you got the people on the Christian with the big megaphone. You got the Jehovah's Witnesses out there trying to stop you. This one day, I normally walk by without, but I stopped this one day. I said, I gotta teach these people a lesson. So I stopped and she's, giving me her spiel. And I said, okay, so you're telling me that they don't call it heaven, they call it paradise in Jehovah's Witness. And I said, so you're telling me that only 144,000 people are going to make it into this paradise? She goes, oh, yes, only 144,000 people. And I asked her, well, how many people are on Earth? And she said about 3 or 4 million. I said, wait a minute. I said, no. There's 3 or 4 million people in the Tri-County area on Earth. At that time, it was about 6.5 billion people. I said, and her eyes got really big. I said, it's interesting that you want to be in this 144,000. Am I correct on that? She says, yes, I do. I said, well, shouldn't you be keeping this information a secret so you can make it in there? Because what if I get past you? 144,000. It's 8 billion people on Earth. Come on. And you want to tell everybody. You're supposed to keep that top secret. That's supposed to be like a top secret thing that nobody knows about, so you can be one of the adept initiates that gets into paradise. You don't go out here and spread all the information around so somebody can pass you right on by. What if I can recruit more people than you on the side of the street corner and get more people to sign up, which I probably could if I wanted to. If I was going to be in any religion, I'd be the number one person in religion. And I'll get them all. And then I'm in the 144,000 and you out there with the heathens. Come on, man. And you want to tell everybody about this thing. Come on. She didn't know what to do. I could see the steam coming out of her ears. She didn't know how to react, what to do. Her brain was going into overdrive. Woo! The horns were tooting and the bells were popping. She was like, I don't know what's going on. This guy just threw me for a loop. She sat down on the edge of that little white wall that got there Fort Lauderdale Beach and just tried to get her brain back together. Anyway, I don't know why these people talk to me, man. I don't understand. Anyway, so that's theological. We did also now the incorporation of local saints and martyrs. This is very important. So the veneration of local saints and martyrs, often with festivals and rituals reminiscent of pagan hero worship, helped tailor Christianity to different regions of the planet to make it more appealing for those populations. So what they did was they took their local saints, their saints, people, saint this and saint that, right? And martyrs, people that were killed for a cause. And maybe the Roman government slayed those people and not revered them because they got killed for what they believed in. I said, you know what? Let's make this a smorgasbord. Let's throw them in there too. Let's get it all in there. Throw it all in there and mix it all around. And then just remix it and boom, we'll take everyone. We want everybody. Open arms, bring them all in. This is how they did it. This is exactly how they did it. Okay? And so by combining pagan rituals with Christianity, the Romans facilitated a smoother transition to the new faith across the entire empire, ensuring its wider acceptance and integration into daily life. This strategy not only helped the spread and consolidation of Christianity, but it also enriched its traditions with a diversity of cultural expressions. So we got a little bit from these people, a little bit from these people, a little bit from these people, a little bit from these people. It toss it all in. And people are thinking that they're getting some information that came directly from the God, the creator of the universe, God. Because I believe there's a creator of the universe, God. I believe that. I believe that there is a God that created this universe. I've never said there wasn't one. I don't believe the one in that book is the creator of the universe, because when you go into the text, and I just barely dabbled in some text here, you find out it's multiple gods, which aren't gods at all. They're just people that were revered as gods. You see? People that were revered as gods. And now what is Biden doing? He's doing the same exact thing. He probably studied this Roman text and said, oh, Constantine used this technique to incorporate, to get more people in. So if I use that technique, I can get more people in. So what does he do? He declares Easter transgender day. All right. So now he's using an ancient thing that happened in Rome, and he thinks it's going to work for him. So he's using that for his poly tricks. He's using the same exact technique Constantine used, but he's using it for his poly tricks. You see, that just happened. That really just happened. Just happened. All right. So this is crazy stuff, man. The more you dig into this stuff, the more you scratch your head like, what the hell is going on? 21st century, and we got grown people still believing in fairy tales. And it's just because they've been programmed. Like I say all the time, when you were born, you were given your name, you were given your race, you were given your religion, and now you're spending the rest of your life defending a false identity. I've seen people in the chat already getting frustrated and angry and, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying this. He needs to burn in a lake of fire and all this kind of stuff. If I ask those people who are they can't even tell me who they are. They have no idea who they actually are. They have no idea who they are, because everything that they are is completely programmed. They've accepted every program that exists. And from the age of 1 to 7, that programming code, it becomes like a hard file on the database, on the drive. And from there, everything else is just added to the drive, to that one master file. That between age 1 to 7, whatever happens within that time frame, usually very hard to break it. That programming code is hard to break. So we walk around and we say, I'm Billy Carson. Well, who's Billy Carson? I mean, am I really Billy Carson? Somebody gave me that name. I didn't give myself that name. Somebody gave me that name. That's why I get it when people name themselves, like Malcolm X, he gave himself his own name. I understand it. He identifies with that better. He gave himself that name. I didn't give myself this name. See? We got to look at things a little bit deeper, Who gave you that? Why are you in this religion? Why are you a Christian? Why are you a Muslim? Why are you a Buddhist? Why are you this? Why? And so, my mother, my grandmother, for generations, this is what we've known. This is what I was born into this, and I believe it. No, you don't really believe it. You accepted it. You're trying to convince yourself that you believe it, but in true reality, you never had a choice. No one ever sat you down and gave you a choice. Most likely, you accepted it. And you're continuing it because of one thing: fear. The fear of the damnation of fire, eternal burning fire and death. Because one thing that God does make clear, he kills a lot of people in that book. God kills over 3 million people in the Bible. The devil kills nobody. God kills over 3 million people. Satan kills nobody. So he's a murderer. That's a fact. He says it himself in Isaiah. I created the evil and I created the good. Do what I, saith the Lord. Isaiah. He says he's the one creating the evil. He didn't say it was Satan. He said it was him. And anytime you got to say him, which is a gender, we're talking about a person. We ain't talking about the creator of the universe. We're not. We're talking about these people that were here, that look like us, but were far, far more intelligent, consciously, spiritually, technologically. And they abuse that. They abuse that knowledge against us. Anytime a more advanced culture meets a less advanced culture, the less advanced culture will deify them. It's just a fact. It's called a cargo cult. I talk about this many times in my lectures and podcasts and workshops. It's been in documentaries. It's a real life thing. Cargo cult. Earth is a gigantic cargo cult. The whole planet is a cargo cult. And people are saying, Good Friday. Why is it good? I don't understand. Why is it so good? If I know people that are good people, I can't imagine those good people that I know standing by me and then somebody over there with a kid, watching that kid get slaughtered, and they're going, yeah, that was good. I can't imagine that person doing it. I can't conceive it happening, because I know they would be completely appalled by it. You see what's happening with Israel and Palestine? I see certain people are cheering for the deaths and making excuses why those kids and those people should be eradicated or genocided. That's what religion does to you. It turns you into a madman or a madwoman. It rips away your humanity. It steals it from you. It's like a thief in the night that robs you of who you really are. You're at your core value, and turns you into an absolute raging animal that you'd do anything in the name of God. Many people have been killed in the name of God. More people have died over religious beliefs than any other reason on the face of the earth. More wars over what? Religion. Okay. It's a powerful, powerful drug. And if you get addicted to it, you're in trouble. So let's take a look at this. Let's explore Good Friday a little bit more. So people are all enthralled over God and Jesus, and oh my goodness, the love is so strong. I can feel the love in my bones, and it's incredible, and it's changing my life and everything else, and so forth and so on. And then you read a story like he killed all these innocent kids, and it's like he had to kill those kids, No, he didn't. Come on now, he had to kill these kids. Come on. For real? Is that what you believe? He had to do it? Times were different back then. No, time doesn't exist for God, because God is all knowing, all powerful, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. So don't give me the time thing. Don't try to consolidate it into your human mind, to your human IQ. Don't do that. Let me give you the real IQ. Let me give you the big picture. The God that you're worshiping is supposed to be the creator of an entire universe, maybe even a multiverse with multiple dimensions we know now in quantum physics. You're talking about a universe that we, at the speed of light, we can never get to the edge because the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light. We'll never see the edge of the universe. That's how incredible it is. And you're telling me that a God with that much power that can be everywhere at once and that can see everything at the same time and hear everything at the same time, that's omnipresent, doesn't have the capability or the power to teach people and get them to do what he wants them to do the right way without killing their babies. His solution is killing the babies. That'll teach them. That'll get them going. Let's bring the plagues. Let's torture more innocent women and children. That's what you're telling me? The creator of planets and moons and star systems and nebula and atoms and particles like electrons and protons and muons and quarks on the subatomic level has to actually slaughter innocent babies to get a point across. I guarantee you, I can go descend in on a town right now and I can meet the people, greet the people, shake their hands, talk to them, and teach. They do it all the time. It's called missionary work. And you can get people to see things in a totally different way. I do it all the time. I'm on YouTube doing it right now. And I didn't have to kill your babies to do this. There's no way, shape, or form that I had to get a contract out to kill all your babies for me to come on this YouTube and talk to you. It didn't cost you your firstborn son for me to do this. This is free for you. Free knowledge. Think about that for a minute. Think how sadistic that is. And to celebrate that. Good Friday. They slaughtered those babies. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's wild. That's really crazy. And then you move into the resurrection. He is risen. Okay, let's talk for a minute. So it's supposed to be on the third day that he rose. They don't have the date that Jesus died. They got some hypothetical dates online, right? They got some hypothetical dates, and their scholars are going back and forth and arguing. Every year they're arguing when it could be this date, that date, this time, this time. They're coming up with hypotheses and guesses because there's no written text that says anything about it. It's so strange to me how they were able to write down every word that Jesus ever said as he was saying it, and everything he ever did, and everything he did, and everything that one did, and all the text and all the scripture, with the biggest impact, the biggest day in the history of their own lives would be the day that he was crucified, and nobody wrote it down. Nobody said, you know what? We better take note of this one. Do you know why they didn't take note of it? Because he didn't die. That's why. If you look at, let me go in here. Let me get the exact, the Gospel of Barnabas. If you read the Gospel of Barnabas, you discover that Jesus never died on the cross. If you read the Sinai, okay, the Sinai Bible. Now, the Sinai Bible has a couple of names. There's a secondary name to the Sinai Bible. The Sinai Bible, let me give you the exact secondary name to it in case you want to look it up for yourself, okay? Let me get that Sinai Bible. It's called the Codex Sinaiticus. Codex Sinaiticus, also known as the Sinai Bible. It's the oldest manuscript of the Christian Bible, written in Greek in the middle of the 4th century. It contains the Old and New Testaments, as well as a large portion of the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament. The Sinai Bible is significant because it includes corrections made by scholars and scribes to ensure that the manuscript accurately reflects the original manuscripts. Let me say that to you again. The Sinai Bible is significant because it includes corrections to ensure that the manuscript accurately reflects the original manuscripts. Interesting. You know that in the Harvard Seminary, they have a copy of the Book of Jesus' Wife. How come they're not teaching you that Bible study? That's in America. They found this years and years ago. It's in the Harvard Seminary, the Book of Jesus' Wife, which means he got married, probably to Mary Magdalene, probably had kids, most likely. That would be the Merovingian bloodline, probably still walking the planet till this very day. Just spitting facts, guys and gals. I'm just giving you the knowledge. And everything that I'm saying, giving you sources simultaneously. So go to work. Go to work. To be clear, the Bible does not explicitly specify the precise date of Jesus' crucifixion. Oh, that's what they said. This is not me saying this. This is them saying this. I'm reading this from the sources. It does not specify the precise date. They're arguing over dates. Scholars, biblical scholars and theologists and theologians and so forth. They're just trying to figure this thing out. Meanwhile, it's not written anywhere. So what are you trying to figure out? Based on alignments or something or whatever? Maybe on another action or something that happened somewhere else. Either way, it's pretty bizarre that the most important day of their lives would be the death of Jesus Christ, and everything else is written down. They even wrote down in the New Testament where Jesus condones slavery, but they forgot to write that he was killed on the cross and what day it happened and what time it happened. Yeah, the Bible says that. The Bible says, Jesus says, honor your slave master as you would honor me. Love your slave master as you would love me. They made sure that was in there. See, that's a remix, obviously. I don't believe he really even said that. But they got that in there, but they couldn't get the date, the time, and everything else of the crucifixion. But then you go to the Sinai Bible and you discover, didn't really happen like that. Then you go to the Gospel of Barnabas and discover, didn't really happen like that. And then you start looking at, you can even read the Quran. The Quran tells you guys have been fooled. Now all of these texts are open to remixing, of course, but there's too many sources. Sometimes you track to see if you can get 3 or 4 sources in something from different locations in different places. And when you do that, you get circumstantial evidence, which is pretty interesting. Verse 157 of chapter 4 of the Quran states, and for their saying, we killed the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, the apostle of Allah, though they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but it was made so to appear. Oops. I'm just, there's too many people in too many different time periods, in too many areas, in too many different texts, too many authors that are disconnected from each other, saying the same exact thing. Didn't happen. And let's talk about that for a minute, by the way. Let's talk about this crucifixion for a minute, because I want you to envision something. Imagine that you're the creator of the universe. You're all-knowing, all-powerful. You have all the wisdom that ever existed and will ever exist. You can create things by thought and by sound, by speaking it. You can touch something and create an entire, whatever it is you want to create, a moon, a planet, whatever it is. You're everywhere all at once. And now you've created human beings. And you just don't seem to like the way that they're behaving. So instead of going down and becoming their teacher in person, you say, you know what? I've got a brilliant idea. I'll send my son through the womb of a human being, let him grow up to be tortured and tormented, almost starve to death, almost die of thirst, and then at the end, I'll have him slaughtered in front of everybody. This is the greatest idea I've ever came up with. And then everyone has a path to get to me through his dead body. If I ask, with kids, would you go ahead and take your kid and slay them to die for somebody else? They look at me like I'm crazy. It doesn't make sense. You have that much power, and the best idea you got in the tank is to kill your kid, and that's going to be the savior? Why is that a savior? Why is that a savior? All it did was set people up for failure. And I mean spiritual failure. How? Let me explain. First thing you have to understand is this. The biggest downfall of Christianity is no accountability. That's the biggest downfall in Christianity. As a Christian, I can do anything I want as long as I repent. That's what they all believe. You heard TD Jakes get on he got up on his little, mega church screen the other night. If allegations about me are true, all I got to do is tell God that I need to be forgiven and tell Jesus to forgive me because there's enough blood of the lamb to. No accountability. You can do whatever you want, and then, oh, Jesus, please forgive me for my sins. Oh, I got a fresh, clean slate again. Now I can go drinking out tomorrow. I can go to the strip club and hang out tomorrow. Oh, Jesus, forgive me. Oh, I can punch the crap out of my kid again tomorrow and start all over again, fresh again. Oh, I can go to work and act like an a-hole and treat everybody like crap. And then please forgive me. I can mistreat the waiters and waitresses at the restaurant, talk to them like they're beneath me, give them no tips or bad tips. Oh, Lord, please forgive me. No accountability. This life is 100% your responsibility. And they got you thinking it's somebody else's responsibility. They got you thinking you can relinquish all of your evil doings and wrongdoings, and you don't have to learn anything from them because all you got to do is ask for forgiveness and start fresh again. And how many times are y'all starting fresh a day? A minute? Come on now. You think you're growing as a person because you calling on somebody and begging them for your forgiveness? How about seeing the problem that you created, understanding the in it, and breaking down what happened, seeing what kind of lesson you learned from the situation, growing from learning from that situation, and then being able to look back on it and realize you stepped up from where you used to be. That's what being born again is all about. And guess what? You'll be born again many times in one lifetime if you continue the process of self-improvement and self-growth. No required. No dropping on the knees and sobbing required. No admonition of your own faults required. No lack of your own responsibility required. You don't need Jesus to have morals. Morality is your birthright. You don't need Jesus to figure out you screwed up and you need to do better. It's nothing but a crutch holding humanity back from where we're supposed to be. If we didn't have that dogmatic ideological system in place, humanity would be much further along than where we are, because the majority of the world is Christianity. People say, why are you talking about it so much? Well, it's one of the biggest problems we have on the planet. The largest percentage of the population are doing that. And I'm snatching belief systems away, one belief system at a time. And I'm getting people to open up their eyes and realize, holy crap, I got mind pimped this whole time. This whole time I've been mind pimped. You have to realize who you are and what you are. You are your own savior. It's the Christ consciousness that you're trying to achieve. That's what the mission is, Christ consciousness. How do you obtain a level of Christ consciousness? Jesus was just one Christ of dozens that existed long before he was even born. It's crystallization of the conscious mind. How do you achieve that? You can only achieve that by learning from your failures, by learning from your wrongdoings, from figuring things out and doing better and not letting those things happen again. That's how it works. You have to alchemically convert darkness to light. We're talking about alchemy. Alchemy through actions and conscious thought. And you're sitting up here talking about this guy rising up out of caves and he's going to come back on a cloud and all this kind of stuff. There's people right now today in this very exact moment that if a guy came down in a flying machine that they didn't recognize, in other words, it didn't look like he had one of those jet packs attached to him. Some people right now, this moment, would drop to their knees and start sobbing. They don't know who they are. They would become an instant victim of more manipulation. It's advanced technology. You don't need a middleman to get to God. You don't need a middleman to get to God. You don't need it. You know why? You're already connected to God because everything in the entire known universe on every dimension is connected. Even gravity transcends dimensions. Gravity trans dimensions. We know that gravity is the weakest force in physics. Why is it the weakest force? I know it is because I can lift up this phone off the table even though the Earth's gravity is pulling against it. My arm is strong enough to lift it. Why is it the weakest force when it should be one of the stronger forces? It's the weakest force because it transcends multiple dimensions. By the time it gets to the third density, it's weaker than it is at the higher densities. You have to understand that you were sent here to become your own savior. And the faster you get that into your mind, the faster you understand that you are not the victim, you are the savior, and you are the solutions provider, the faster you get out of any predicament that you're in. The faster you begin to grow consciously and spiritually, the faster you become a better person. It's just a fact. It's an absolute fact. And if you're not too scared to go burn in the lake of fire, which was added to the Bible by the Roman Catholic Church, doesn't even exist, and try the method I'm telling you, you'll see growth in your life instantaneously. You'll see change in the blink of an eye. You'll see it. You'll feel it. You'll recognize it immediately. because it's something totally different than what you've been doing all these years. All these years you've been doing it. Now it's time to make a change. It's time to make a complete change. Let's look at something else. We go to, I was getting into the whole thing about the he has risen. That's what I was getting to before I got off track. So they say he rose on the third day. Well, then why are y'all celebrating Easter on Sunday? Because according to the text, it says he died on a Friday. The argument is they all say Friday, but they don't know what date Friday. They're all arguing which Friday it was. But I mean, I'm looking at my fingers. It looked like it should be on Monday. It should be the risen day. I'm just counting my fingers. It just looks like it should be Monday. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's supposed to be Monday. You know, but I got 3 fingers. I'm just counting. I'm like 1, 2. Should be Monday, but it's not Monday for some reason. It never made it to Monday. They'll do Martin Luther King on a Monday, but they won't do Jesus on Monday? Come on, man. Martin Luther King, they celebrated on Monday. I'm just saying. I'm just asking for a friend. They're probably coming to try to see if they can turn my room down. So, you see, we have to be, no, I'm okay. We have to understand where a lot of this stuff comes from so we can learn how to make better decisions in our lives and what we're actually being involved with, you know? We need to understand, like, what are we being involved? What are we involved in? What is this thing that I'm a part of? You know, we're drinking the blood of a man and eating his flesh. That's the other part. In no way, shape, or form will I involve myself in eating the flesh of a man and drinking his blood. When you look up voodoo rituals, what do they have in some of these voodoo rituals? They have the tearing, eating of flesh, raw meat, and then drinking blood from some of these animals. It's voodoo. In no way, shape, or form do I feel any kind of comfort in imitating eating the flesh of a man and drinking blood. I know it's metaphorical, but that doesn't mean anything. It's not comforting. It doesn't make me feel better whatsoever. It makes absolutely no sense. Because if I tell you that I'm not a Christian and I'm eating the blood and drinking the flesh, eating the flesh and drinking the blood, and I tell you I'm not Christian, but I still do the same ritual for something else, you'll tell me I'm demonic. You'll tell me that I'm evil. You'll tell me. You're going to burn in hell in the lake of fire for doing that. You got to eat our flesh and drink our blood. Really? I do? It's sick. Anybody that goes on a Friday and kills as many babies as they possibly can, runs a whole gambit of pestilence over people to kill innocent people by the thousands, and then goes and has their kids slaughtered, their own firstborn son slaughtered and hung out to dry and thrown into a dark cave and all of this. It's sick. In no way do I feel comforted. In no way do I feel happy about that. In no way do I feel my spirits are lifted. It makes me want to puke, is what it does. It makes me want to absolutely puke when I think about it. That's what it does to me. It makes me want to puke. It makes me sick to my stomach. Because there's no way in the world that you're going to tell me this is the creator of the universe. He got one puny little pharaoh over here that don't want to listen to what he got to say. So I got it. I've got another great idea. I'll kill the children. And then I'll send the pestilence to torture and destroy their crops and let people starve to death. And I'll kill the women too. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And then the Pharaoh will listen to me. Is that the best you got? Like, that's what you pull out of the hat? That's like what you go, that's your mastermind 10 gigabyte IQ says to do that. That's the first thing come to mind. Kill women and children. Starvation, starve people to death. Kill my kid. Kill, 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 kill. And then flip it. Good Friday. Resurrection. And you got people jumping around. Ah! Come on, man. For real? Come on. It's evil. It's dark. It's really dark. If anybody out here on these streets duplicated what this book said this God did, they'll be locked up and in prison, or they'll be like Epstein, suicided or disappeared. That's what it is. Suicided or disappeared. It's dark and it's evil. It just is what it is. I'm just telling you, it is what it is. It's a culmination of pagan rituals all throughout Christianity, all throughout all their celebrations. Roman pagan rituals from multiple gods, condensed and remixed into text. The S is taken off from gods, made singular, and they incorporated it, like I read you, from sources to allow people to easily convert into Christianity. And then that concept began to spread around the planet until this very day. You guys and gals are still celebrating the same thing. And like I said, I prefaced this talk tonight with the fact that when you have holidays that give you time off to spend with your family, take them. Because I'm going to take the time. If I was home today and not traveling, I would be with my family. If it's Christmas week or Christmas Day or whatever it is, I'm going to be with my family, having a good old time. If it's Thanksgiving, I'm going to be with my family. But I know the secrets behind Christmas. I know the secrets behind Thanksgiving. I know the secrets behind St. Patrick's Day. I know the secrets behind Easter and Good Friday and all these holidays. I have the knowledge of them. But at the same time, do not in no way let it turn you dark and have you with an attitude projecting that. Still got to love on your people and spend time with them. And they're not all going to see things the same way you see things. So don't put any pressure on them. You know? I was coming in this hotel today. Guy that sees me check in here all the time in LA, he says, "Happy Easter." I say, "Hey man, thank you." You keep on going, keep on moving. It didn't get me mad or frustrated or angry. This is the world we live in. People will get the information at a specific time. Everything happens in divine time. You got to take the information, you got to digest it, you have to discern it. Take time to meditate on it, sit on it, play it back, look up some of the things I'm telling you. Let it sit with you for a little while. Don't just start blabbing it out to every single person. You know, if you can't say it right, send the link out, send my video link out to somebody. But take some time, let it sit with you for a minute. It's a slow process, it's a gradual process. And what I try to do is I try to get people to see things from a different lens, because we all see things from this lens that we've been programmed to see since birth. You know, so if you were born in a country where the first thing they feed you is raw octopus legs, you'd grow up eating raw octopus legs, even with them squirming around on the table and trying to escape you. You'd pick it right up in your bare hands and you put it right in your mouth and bite it and eat it, because you were programmed. You've been taught from birth. You've been given that your first meal was raw octopus. You've seen it squirming around as a baby. You've seen it being stuffed down your throat. You've eaten it. So now as a grown-up, you pick it right up and chomp it right on down. But if I, not from that culture, see that octopus leg on the table squirming around, I'm going to get grossed out, probably puke, and I'll never touch it and I'll never bite into it. Well, that's a real life metaphor that happens. You've been fed, you've been force-fed this information since birth. You've been force-fed it. You've been told the stories over and over again to the point where you now believe them. Because why would my mom and my dad want to lead me astray? Why would my grandmother want me to want to lead me astray? Why would my great grandmother? Why? You got to remember, they're regurgitating the same program. It's the same software being regurgitated over and over and over and over and over again. Just like the whole thing with the Noah's Ark. You guys know I'm reading the Epic of Gilgamesh here on this account. I'm getting close to the part where we're talking about the Ark. Because, you know, Noah is Ziazudra or Unapishtim, depending on the text in the Bible. And he didn't make that big giant boat like they talk about in the Bible. He made a circular disc-shaped ship that had compartments. And he was told to collect his local flora and fauna and his local animals that he had. He wasn't told to collect two of every kind on Earth. And for so many generations, people have been fed this lie that 2 deer and 2 lion and 2 ticks and 2 fleas and 2 cockroaches and 2 got on this ship. I mean, come on. 2 flies and 2 bumblebees. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. 2 hummingbirds. It didn't happen like that. It's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale, and unfortunately, there's people out there that have been fed that for so long, since they was born, they still believe it. They would die for that right now, for that one thing that I just told you about. They would rather die than admit that I was right. Even though we have the stone tablet that shows exactly what was said, it's not a mystery anymore. It was discovered about 4 years ago. It's sitting in the British Museum. We have the Ark tablet. We have it. And the description on how to make it and all the dimensions and exactly what was told to put inside the Ark. We have it. How come they're not screaming that from CNN and Fox News and every other news channel? How come that's not in every single church? All the mega churches should be screaming that from the top rafters. But they're not doing it. And they got you still walking around here believing that there were 2 cockroaches and 2 ticks and 2 fleas and 2 shrimp and 2 cockatoos and 2 deer, 2 antelope, and giraffes all came on this boat. Ridiculous. We're supposed to be, at a certain point, we're supposed to grow up. And we have to realize, some of the things that I was given as a kid need a little bit more research. What happens is a lot of us don't take it upon ourselves to ask questions because we're afraid of the answer. We're afraid that, oh my God, what if I find out that even a third of what Billy is saying is accurate? Then I've been a fool my whole life. No, you haven't been a fool your whole life. There's nothing to be ashamed about. I've been wrong about things myself. They go, oh man, I was wrong about that. I got to shift here. I got to learn more about this. Be thankful that an opportunity to learn something now, to research something else now, to add to your knowledge base so that you can make a better educated decision on what you really want to believe in. One of my sons came to me. His name was Justin. I have 6 kids. Justin came to me when he's 24 now, but he was about, he was in the 10th grade. So what would that age be in the 10th grade? I guess he was probably 14, right? 14 or 15 maybe. And he came to me and he says, after doing my research, I no longer believe in religion. And I was like, okay, well, what research did you do? What would you do? He says, well, I've been reading the Sumerian tablets, and now I see that everything from there has been taken and added to a lot of the biblical texts, and I'm beginning to realize it's not what I thought it was, because his mom's side is extremely religious. And so that's what he was being fed nonstop. And with the way I raise my kids, I don't beat my thoughts into their mind. They can see how I operate. They know what I believe in. If they ask questions, I'll answer them. And if they all believe in different things, I believe people got to go on their own path. But he came to me at that age and said, hey, this is the way I'm going. I'm going to go into spirituality. I believe spirituality is the best thing for me. That's what he told me, Justin. I said, hey, man, hey, more power to you. If you have any questions, I'm here for you, And so he came to that epiphany on his own. It doesn't mean that the first, part of his life was a waste. It's just part of the process. It's a process. This earth is a proving ground, a learning ground. We're supposed to develop and get better as we go, learn more and more and more, and develop ourselves consciously so that we can become adept initiates and ascend, I think, higher dimensions with our mind. Being born again over and over again in the consciousness, looking back and saying, wow, just 3 years ago, look where I was. Now I'm here. And looking back again, wow, I just keep going up and up and up. That's what being born again is all about. It has nothing to do with somebody taking you and dousing you in some river or some dirty pool. Nothing to do with that whatsoever. It has everything to do with you realizing where you were and continuing to grow as a person. And that requires no Jesus. It requires no God. That's your responsibility for your own life. And stepping into your true power and becoming the person that you were already ordained to be. That's what that means. It's all part of the process, period. The same spark, you hear me say this all the time, the same spark that created every atom in every dark matter in the entire universe is also inside of your body. And if it's in your body, that means you are a fractal of God. You are a fractal of God walking in the flesh right here, right now. And if that's the case, it's time for power. Stop giving away your power. Stop relinquishing your power to outside sources. Oh, please, Heavenly Father, come and save me. And I can't figure this out. And I don't know what to do. That's low frequency. If I put an EEG cap on your head and connect it to a computer, that computer is going to show me a very slow and wide cosine wave, meaning that your mind is in a low frequency state. If I then put that same cap on your head and tell you to command your reality into existence, I command that my situation be changed. I command a way out. I command the solution is attracted to me like a magnet. I'm a magnet that attracts solutions to get out of problems and fix situations. And look at that on the computer. I'm going to see a very high, close-in cosine, high frequency mindset, real science. And the universe is a mirror. When you give it low frequency, it kicks you back low frequency. When you give it high frequency, it gives you back high frequency. So the lower your frequency, the more problems, the more turmoil, the more headaches, the more nightmares you're going to continue to have. When you flip the switch and go high frequency, the more blessings, the more epiphanies, the more enlightenment, excitement, and happiness you're going to have. It's really up to you. It's all about your frequency and understanding how to even pray. That example I just gave you is how I pray. I don't beg for anything. I don't drop down on my knees and start sobbing and going, oh, please help me. That's going to bring me more drama and trauma into my life, and my problem will not be solved. See, I don't take the victim mindset, and I take ownership for my mistakes. So because I'm doing that, because I'm learning and growing from my own mistakes, I take the commanding role because I am the captain of the ship. I am the president of my life. I take full responsibility and full control, so I command my reality into existence. And I see the end before the end. You see? I'm not hoping it works out. I know it's going to work out because I said it, because I spoke it from my vocal box. I created my own cymatic frequencies from my own vocal box that came out of my mouth and emanated into space-time and literally altered reality in the third dimension. I'm speaking my realities into existence with my own power, the same divine power that is imbued in the entire universe, that's inside of my body. I'm commanding my own realities. That's the difference. I'm not subdued. I'm not groveling and begging. I'm not snot crying and hoping and wishing and heart palpitating and hands sweating. And Make somebody come to the front altar and drop on your knees and have this guy run and put his sweaty hand all over the back of my damn neck. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm taking full charge and responsibility for my own reality tunnel. And I'm engaging my own self to become better and do better on a daily basis. On a daily basis. And then what do? I'm taking action steps, positive action steps every single day to meet my own goals. And I'm only in competition with myself. I'm not competing against anybody on the outside. The challenge is me. Every day, what can I do to become better? Where did I fail yesterday? Where did I fail? How can I fix that problem? I'm always constantly looking and searching for solutions. I'm not getting stuck on the problem. I'm like, okay, that's the problem. How do I fix it? My wife had brought something up to me that was really, really incredible. She showed me some of my triggers that I didn't even know existed and how they were linked to trauma from my upbringing, from my childhood. She showed me the link between those childhood traumas and things that were triggering me right now today. This is a few months ago. And she challenged me to work on that. And I love it. I love a challenge because I know in a challenge, I'm going to change. I'm going to grow. And so I began going to counseling. Now, we had already been going to marriage counseling from long before we got married. We went to marriage counseling for a year before we got married. That's a whole nother podcast because I know people ain't doing that. And now that we are married, we're still going to counseling. And now I'm going to counseling for myself on the side of that, because some things you just need somebody from another perspective to bounce around and help you to point out, okay, well, you see when this happened here in this situation, how that is triggering this situation. Oh, yeah, I can see it now. Self-growth, working on yourself, finding ways to continue to become better and better and better. Now, I didn't have to take that challenge. I can be like, nah, man, I'm good, man. I ain't worried about that childhood stuff. I'm tough. You know what I'm saying? I'm tough. I got this. I'm good. Yeah, what happened in the past is in the past. I'm straight. Don't worry about that no more. Don't bring it up no more. I could have got real nasty. I could have got real sly with her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you bringing this stuff up, man? I don't want to hear about that crap. No. I sat down and I listened and I tried to envision the situation and I tried to begin to see links between the past and the present and how those energies that I am tied to from within my own self from in back in the day are affecting me today. And I said, you know what? This is a worthwhile challenge. This is worthwhile. This is how you keep changing and growing. So just in a few months, I'm already higher than where I was when I started dealing with those traumas and doing that shadow work. So now I've been born again and I can look back and see where I was just a few months ago. And the more I keep working on this, the more times I will be born again in the spirit again, over and over again, consistently ascending to higher levels of wisdom and understanding about my own self. The thing about that is I can take that, my own self knowledge and wisdom, and I can begin to also then help and apply that and show other people that there's a way out. There's something you can do to fix this problem. I found the solution. This works for me. Maybe you should try that. You see? It's a totally different way than what people in religion are doing. It's the complete opposite. In religion, it's give away the power, hope and wait, hope and beg, hope and wish. Wait for the sky daddy with the magic wand to come grant you all your wishes. It's like you want to enslave Jesus. Jesus, I'm calling on you again. Where are you? How come you ain't here, Jesus? You want a slave? We had 400 years of slavery. A lot of people died and got beat to death and raped and murdered, and children got ripped apart from their mothers and their fathers, and fathers got put into buck fights and everything else. There was no Jesus coming to save anybody. Why are you surprised that Jesus ain't showing up right now? Why are you surprised at this? Why is it a surprise to you? Stop waiting for outside sources to come and save you. It's time to save yourself. It's time for you to realize you are your own savior. What do I do when I go down to the voting booth every 4 years? Every 4 years, I go down to the voting booth, which I'm going to go for this presidential election, and I'm going to literally write my name on the blank ballot and put that in the box like I do every 4 years. I vote for me because I have faith in myself. And when I vote for me, as soon as I drop that ballot in the box with my name on it, I turn around and put my hands up and say, I am the president. I already won. I won the instant that I showed confidence and faith in myself. That instant, I became the president of my life and my family. And I take the responsibility for that every single day. I don't care. I don't care about these clowns, Trump, Biden, and whoever else you're going to have go up in there. I can care less about these people. They can make any law they want. Guess what? I'm going to navigate the matrix, and I'm always going to live my best life. I can care less. You know why? Because they themselves are part of creating laws that have loopholes every single which way inside of them. They always leave the breadcrumbs and the Easter eggs. You call them Easter eggs in video games, the shortcuts. They always have them in there, right appropriate for Easter Day. You just follow them through the matrix because they're going to eat, guaranteed, under the same laws. You just got to follow them through the matrix. That's all you got to do. Stop, man, he's going to do this and he ain't going to do it. And what if he does this? I can care less. It's the last thing on my brain. When people start talking to me about these polytricksters and who you're going to vote for, I just laugh. I said, man, I'm the president. They look at me like, what'd you say? I said, I am the president. They go, huh? Yeah, I vote for me, man. I vote for myself every 4 years. Yeah, I see the steam coming out of there. They don't even know what I respond to what I'm saying. They can't even conceive it in their brain. Their brain never even went to that level of self-confidence. It never even achieved that level of self-confidence. The brain is melting on the inside. I vote for me. And everyone on this should vote for yourself. Vote for you. Stop putting your faith and your trust and your energy in these people and these polytricksters. I mean, what are the two things that go together most that aren't supposed to go together? Politics and religion are supposed to be two separate things, but they're in a what do you call that relationship? In a codependent relationship. They're in a codependent relationship. One is paying off the other, and the other one's giving the other favors. They're in a codependent relationship, and they shouldn't even be in a relationship whatsoever. It actually goes against, politics goes against religion, if you're really following the letter of the word. This shouldn't have even be brought up in church. But the most religious people are the most political people. Chasing after the false idols that the Bible warned them not to follow. The Bible said, I'm going to use your Bible on you. Don't go after the false idols. Don't chase the false idols. As a matter of fact, God kills people for going after the false idols. Many times. Many, many, many times. You're warned throughout the entire book. Stop following the false idols. Those are the polytricksters. That's who they are. The polytricksters. Listen, we got to do better as a people on this planet. You know, we have to do better. We have to stop letting these divide and conquer tactics destroy us. You know, we have to stop allowing ourselves to fall for the okie doke and all this religious dogma. And we have to begin to realize we are the saviors that we have been waiting for, and we have the power. And when we do that, life is going to become so much better for us. Life is going to become so much joyful. And when we begin to realize that we can not only do that, but we can even live in our passion. We can find things that we're passionate about and learn how to monetize our passion. The world is changing so fast right now. It's the perfect time for people that want to make a pivot and a shift away from begging, hoping, and wishing to doing and putting action out and creating. It's a creator's world right now. It's a creator's world. But it should be, because we are creators, because the creator is inside of us. So if the creator is inside of us, then of course we are imbued with the ability to create. We create everything that exists. If we didn't have that power, there would be nothing here. I wouldn't even be sitting in a chair, because a chair wouldn't exist. I'd be standing butt naked under a tree right now. We are the creators of our own reality. We manipulate the environment with these things called appendages, and we change the reality around us. It starts with conscious thought backed by action, and that creates manifestation. So we're manifesting our reality. So why are we begging and hoping somebody's going to help us with that? Why are we celebrating darkness, like the killing of babies on Bad Friday, not Good Friday, and the resurrection of a guy who was killed by his own father? Why are we celebrating that when it's really all about sex and war and fertility? They were trying to create a population. You see, the Ishtar, aka Inanna, was connected to the Hathors in ancient Kemet. And you learn about the Hathors when you go to Kemet. I'll take you to Kemet. Come to Kemet with me. I'll drop the link here in the live chat. If you want to come with me to Egypt, that's ancient Kemet. I take people on super VIP private tours. And this tour is going to be the best one yet, coming up this October. Okay. This October, September, I'm going to Turkey, taking people to Turkey. And then in October, I'm taking people to Egypt, ancient Kemet. And I will show you some things you'll never thought you'd see. You'd be like, how in the world did this happen? I'm sending you the link right now in the live chat. It's the Forbidden Tour of Egypt. This is the link to the tour. If you guys want to come hang out with me in Egypt, this will be my 3rd year taking people on tour, my 7th time in Egypt. It's super VIP. We take people to private places, private access to the Great Pyramid. I think last year we spent 4 hours in the Great Pyramid. Private access to the Great Sphinx, inside the Sphinx enclosure. We even had somebody go underneath the Sphinx, into hidden areas at the Temple of Dendera, into the area where the Hathors were doing the birthing chambers and helping to reproduce people. The same Hathors that were connected to Ishtar, aka Inanna. All right. So all of that, and I'll drop the link in here one more time for the Egypt tour. If you want to come on tour to Egypt, it's right there. All right. And if you want to come hang out in one of these Regal cinemas, I'll be at the Regal cinemas all year long. I'll be speaking, and then I will show the actual premiere of the show. The new show is Anunnaki Ancient Secrets Revealed. All right. And so this is the Regal. I'm going to drop it in the live chat right now. Regal IMAX. They got me on the IMAX screens, which is the best screen you can be on. It means your production is the highest quality. So they have me on the highest quality screens. I just dropped that. So you can find what state I'll be in. You can get a ticket, come to that state. I think the tickets are $44.44, 4444. All right. If you want a VIP ticket, VIP tickets are available also for meet and greets and book signings and all that, red carpet photos. But check out those tickets. I just dropped a link in there. It's the Regal IMAXs around the United States. At specific ones, I'll be there in person to speak for an hour, and I'll be there to sign books and speak to you and answer questions and everything else, and then show the premiere of Anunnaki Ancient Secrets Revealed, something that you definitely don't want to miss. And all these links will be in the caption of this video or in the caption of this audio, wherever it shows up. All right. So it's going to be an amazing year. A lot of knowledge getting dropped this year. A lot of great information getting dropped this year. And if you have never been on one of my tours of Egypt, take a look at this real quick.
This is Jimmy Church. Please visit and explore Egypt this October 3rd through the 14th, 2024 with Billy, Elizabeth, myself, and very special guest, Matt LaCroix. It's simple to do. Just go to forbiddenknowledge.com and click on upcoming tours, or click on the link below. We'll see you there.
All right, we'll see you there. Thanks, everyone, for hopping on tonight. It's been a great night, great talk. I hope I was able to teach some people some things tonight. I hope you got something out of this. Like I said, I'm still going to enjoy my holidays. I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to hang out with my family. I'm going to hug them and love them whenever the opportunity comes up to be able to do that, when people are off and there's time available. So like I said before, don't turn into a fanatic. Understand and learn from what I taught you. It's not about the day and spending time with family. It's about knowing what fundamentally is underneath, what's underlying underneath all of this dogma, what really happened, what's really going on, and how do you alchemically convert that darkness into light, and then you become the light. All right, that's what it's really all about. All right, so anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. Don't forget, I do have my Tupac Remix Vault channel. All right, my Tupac Remix Vault. If you're into Tupac, I have a whole nother platform where I do Tupac remixes. People love them. It's very, very inspirational. I have a Tupac podcast where I talk about things that a lot of people probably didn't know about Tupac on the inspirational side. Last week, we had King Simon on. We did a great motivational talk with the numerology of the Tupac code of Tupac, and people really, really vibe to it and love it. It's the Tupac Remix Vault on YouTube. I just dropped the link in the live chat. You give me a subscribe over there and check it out. The Tupac Remix Vault. I think I have about 5 songs up right now. People are really loving the songs. Go there and read all the comments on the songs. I don't take away from the essence of the music, of his lyrics. I just kind of give it a kind of different flavor. And all the songs are 432 hertz, which is better on the body, better on the DNA. So check it out if you get a chance. Go to Tupac Remix Vault on YouTube. And with that being said, guys, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for hanging out. And I'm going to see if I can grab myself a late dinner. And then tomorrow I'll be on set for about 10 hours filming this new documentary about anti-gravity. And then I got to hop on a red-eye flight and go right back home. All right.